Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. Your host Frank Holder sitting here with you. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians. So without further ado, let's get it started. My man Talent is in the building. What's up, T?
Everything good, brother. How you doing, soldier?
I'm all right. I'm all right. All right. Let me see your T-shirt, bro. This is a reality check. Make sure you're real.
Black Lives Matter, baby. Still on it.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure you know that is talent because that is Black Lives Does Matter.
Black Lives Matter. We still in it. We still in the fact.
Yeah, it is. My man Fig is in the building too. What's up, Fig? How you doing, sir?
Hey man, I'm doing lovely, man. I got on a Black Lives Matter T-shirt too, but I got it on the inside out.
My man Business Bully also is in the building too, man. How you doing, sir?
Man, doing great. How about you, Frank?
I'm doing all right, doing all right. So we're gonna get this show started, and I'm gonna start with something that I don't know if you guys are. See, I don't know how many of you all watch college football, and I don't watch really college football too much, but there's a news item that came out that I just had to mention because obviously when it comes to anybody making Black history, I like to bring it up and everything else. Now, T, I'm not sure if you're following it either, but for the first time ever in history, Notre Dame, the new Notre Dame head coach is a Black man by the name of Marcus Freeman. The crazy thing about this was his father, who's a U.S. service, he was in the service, met a Korean woman. His father used to usher at Ohio State. Marcus Freeman ended up, obviously being raised by his father and his mother, who's Korean and everything else. Ended up in that household. Dad was an usher, ends up going to the pros, does everything he's supposed to, goes to the pros, plays 1 year in the pros, gets out of the pros because he had a large heart, gets into coaching, and at the age of 35, goes through the entire process and now is the head coach of Notre Dame and getting ready to face off against his old alma mater. And we all know how Notre Dame is. How significant and huge of a Black history moment is this to you, where you're seeing a Black man come from basically nothing, I mean absolutely nothing, to being the head coach of Notre Dame football, kicking off in a couple of weeks? What's that mean to you, T?
Well, first of all, you said he left. He had a big heart.
God bless. Yeah, he had an enlarged heart. He wasn't able to play because he had an enlarged heart. So
God bless his heart. God bless his heart. Well, first of all, I just love the fact that whenever I hear Notre Dame, it seems like the biggest thing in college football, right? But if you ever been to South Bend, Indiana, where it is, ain't jack going on out there. You are in, when I say desolate, but anytime a prestigious alma mater gives a shot to one of the minorities, a Black man get a chance to do this, and your son's playing all this combinated stuff, it's always a dope moment. There's Black history moments, and then there's those dope Black history moments. Like this one right here, one for the archives. You know what I mean? Like we all know, we done sat through decade after decade of Notre Dame with not an inkling of color of it, other than out there banging their heads together. Not an inkling of color in any type of administrative role. This is big.
Yeah, I think it's huge. Mike Sean is joining the show. Mike, how you doing, sir? Can't hear Mike, but that's all right. We'll come back to Mike in a second. Fig, talk to me, man. I mean, we always talk about Black versus white on this show, only because the Black man is always trying to in an uphill battle. But this man right now, he's going down in the history books, not just for Black sports history. He's going down in Black history. No matter how you shape it up, he's going down Black history. So, what's your take on Marcus Freeman, Fig?
Yeah, man, you would never think that this would happen in a school like Notre Dame, of all schools. You know if sports, but then there's Notre Dame, which is an entity all to itself, man. And I just wonder, if anybody saw the movie Rudy, which was about Notre Dame. My man Rudy Rudiger made his way from a junior college onto the Notre Dame campus, onto the Notre Dame practice squad, was taken in by a Black janitor who took care of the Notre Dame grounds. Now, all the way from a janitor to being the head coach of Notre Dame has got to be something amazing. And I think that not only should they have the movie Rudy, whatever this coach's name is, they need to have a movie about him, how he made it to Notre Dame and all of the pitfalls and stuff that he had to go through to be able to make it on the Notre Dame campus as the head coach. From a janitor to the head coach.
I think there might be a movie in the works. Business Bully, talk to me, man. Marcus Freeman has made basically a historic rise throughout the NFL. I mean, actually throughout his life. You know what I mean? One season in the NFL had to leave because in a large part starts at his alma mater, Ohio State, stays there for a while, and then gets the defensive coordinator position at Notre Dame, and then nobody saw it coming that he would be named head coach. Bully, nobody saw it coming. He'd be named head coach within a year, and he was. The players love him. What's your take on this, Bully?
Well, I mean, it's always a good payday when a black man gets to get that good money, right? And we know that for a fact because we don't know the terms of his offer, but we do know that he rejected one offer that had him for 4 years, $2.5 million a year. I mean, that's great money, especially at 35 years of age. Listen, Hashitashi, go on and get it. But I'll tell you one thing: that man is black and Korean. I bet you that boy grew up with the best fried chicken in his life. Have you ever had some Korean fried chicken? You had black fried chicken? Now you put them two things together. Woo! I haven't eaten anything fried in like a year and a half, Frank, but I remember chicken. It was delicious.
I don't know about that, but Mike Sean, I can say this for a fact. I know 100% for a fact Michael Freeman is going to do something that people aren't going to see coming because of the discipline he had, and he was raised under a Korean mother and a father who was in the military. I can only imagine how that household.
Whoa!
Listen, it's a great accomplishment what he did. I congratulate him. But I'd be so tired of universities like Notre Dame getting credit for giving people shots after like 70 years of being a racist organization. And then when they give somebody a shot, they go like, oh, that is so great on Notre Dame. No, it's about time. It should have happened a long time ago. I wish him all the luck in the world. He has all the pressure on his neck because trust me, there are a lot of people who Notre Dame. There's a lot of boosters who probably weren't for this. He may have one bad year and be out.
Yeah, that's very possible. It's very possible. Let's keep it moving too. Speaking of college football, man, I don't know if you heard about this team, but my man Deion Sanders, literally is going through some drama in Jackson, Mississippi because of what's happening with the water situation up there, man. Jackson State football team is in a case of emergency right now. They announced an emergency. Deion went on Instagram, announced it, and said that they are in a serious crisis. Meanwhile, they still are playing Florida A&M on Saturday. Like, it's still he got to win a game, and his players not even in a position to even have regular water. Hell, it's not even great water in the state. What's your take?
Yeah, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is they're calling this game Saturday the Water Bowl.
Oh
God!
Oh God!
So this is horrible. This is really bad.
Yes, it is.
And what makes it, to add insult to injury, the winner gets a truckload of water. So you're literally playing to quench your thirst. I think that here's the thing: when you have bad water or water pipeline situation, the politicians and the powers that be know way ahead of time before it hits the news. It's the plot thickens and make me think that is he there in Mississippi? Is he in Jackson State because they knew there was a problem with the water? Do you give him that specific job? Because there's a whole bunch of HBCUs everywhere, but do you specifically give him that job thinking like, you know what, we're going to have a water issue anyway once that thing comes down the pipe, no pun intended. Once that thing comes down the pipe, all hell gonna break loose, and we don't mind Deion being there. So that's the real question to me. How long have they known about it, the people who have known, and why nothing has been done about it up until this point?
Fig T saying a conspiracy. What's your thoughts?
Oh, that's absolutely right, man. We got actually people in Mexico talking about if you go to the United States, don't drink the water, Holmes.
Wow.
It's crazy, man. Plus, I'm thinking to myself, in the big colleges, they get these contracts where they drink Gatorade or vitamin water. They get contracts where they have sports drinks. Then you come to the HBCUs and all we have is water, and they give us free Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? So there's no Kool-Aid on the sideline for these football players. And we know that Kool-Aid is filled with sugar, which gives you energy for a short period of time. It gives you energy. So no Kool-Aid for the football players and no Kool-Aid for the after parties. This is crazy, man. We need our Kool-Aid.
Business bully, conspiracy, flooding. There's a whole lot of things going on in Jackson State, man. But at the end of the day, Deion Sanders, this win or lose goes on his record, man. And I think it's a bad thing, especially if they lose, because the water situation is pretty bad. What you think?
Yeah, they're going to be playing FAMU, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, them Rattlers going to destroy them because Rattlers are reptiles. You understand what I'm saying? So like they're done there. The other part of that nobody's talking about. Nobody asked for a flood. Like we saw this in 2005 with Katrina. But here's the thing: Deion Sanders, as of late, has been doing these press conferences, been talking real greasy, like he's 10 toes down, and we know for a fact he only has 8. Frank, how is he going to get out? How is he going to get out of the water, Frank?
That's low, bully.
How is he going to get out of the water? No, seriously, how is he going to get out of the water? Right? You know what I'm saying? Because when the weather started getting rough, his little wheelchair was tossed. How is it? No, not lower than only being able to have one good foot. He got to get on a good foot and hop out of Jackson before it's too late.
Oh man, bully! Wow.
He need to get a hover round sponsorship.
Not the 10 toes down, bro.
Sit there. Teddy Pendergrass's wheelchair is not being occupied. Maybe he can use that. I'm just curious.
Oh, wow.
Shots fired.
Mike Sean, talk to me, baby. You think it's a conspiracy? You think Deion is going to figure out how to solve it? Because he's getting hit over the head with all kinds of issues over at Jackson State.
Yeah, I just want to ask Nick Saban a question. Isn't he one that claimed that Jackson University got a whole bunch of money? He got and he complained about it. And these are the obstacles that they got to go through in order to play a game. Like, please, Nick Saban, keep Deion's name out your mouth in real life, because you don't even have the obstacles that they're fighting with right now. That plumbing system probably hasn't been changed in 50 years. So they're probably going to have to fly out straight over there and practice there, and hopefully the equipment is still okay. Look, I give Deion credit for not bouncing. He's staying in there. It seems like he's going to be there long term to try and change his program.
He's trying to change everything else for the HBCUs. But speaking of long term, man, talent, there was an article that was released yesterday by Sports Illustrated, man, and they were talking about LeBron James not only playing until Bronny gets in the league. The writer asked him, "Hey, how long you plan on staying?" Because Bryce is not too far away, and literally he did the math. He was like, "Well, if Bryce ends up playing, man, that's 2027." So LeBron seems to give them almost an exclusive, saying he's planning on playing until at least 2027, 2028, when his youngest son, who's 15, is still playing. So I'm gonna ask you, man. I'm gonna ask all of y'all this, but what you think about this, man? You think LeBron's gonna be able to play to 2028? Because that's some years, right? That's what leaves LeBron up. He's 45, 46 years old. What you think? I mean, right now it looks like he physically can do it. T, what you think?
I don't put nothing past American greed. We've seen boxers outstay their welcome, for lack of a better phrase. We've seen a ton of athletes in different sports arenas outstay their welcome. Now, here's the thing: it's possible, but in 2026 and 27 and 28, what LeBron we have sounds like Wizards number 45 all over.
Whoa, good point. Great point. It might be by that in a year or two, bro. You never know. It might be that year or two. Fig, I'm gonna ask you this, man. If you're looking at LeBron James to 2028, do you think that's possible? He'll be able to make it to 2028 because he's getting a couple more injuries now. You know what I mean? Like he wants to play to his not one but both of his sons make it to the NBA. And are we assuming wrong with both of his sons making it to the NBA?
I'm trying to do the math here, man. If my calculations is right, LeBron James' birthday is in December, right? So he's gonna be 38 this year.
Is he? Okay.
So if he plays until 38, we're looking at he gonna play until he's 44. I like to go back to one of my favorite movies of all time. Catches bullets with his teeth. He nigga played a 44. Who is he? Clint Eastwood? What are we talking about here? A 44-year-old NBA player. I mean, listen, if he's sitting on the bench and he's there like Haslam in Miami, a coach, if you will, a glorified coach, if you will, I can see him being on the team. But actually in the game playing at 44, stop it. Stop it already. Catches bullets with his teeth.
Listen,
He might even have teeth.
business bully, it's all possible. LeBron is spending millions of dollars in his offseason program to make sure his health and well-being is well. I can't see him having that much of a drop off. It's only 4 or 5 years from now. You know what I mean? Maybe he gets in there for 5 minutes a game. 3, 5, 6 minutes a game. Maybe he does that. But it's possible, right?
It's possible, but here's the thing: everybody here is focusing on playing. We're not focusing on the money. The LeBron James name is what's keeping the lights on the NBA. Point blank, period. Only honorable mention to Steph Curry, but let's keep it a buck. LeBron says, God, I feel like I'm Ronnie Perry. If you want to win, you go to LA, you play with LeBron. The thing with LeBron at this point is his kids, wherever, like it's like my buddy, wherever his kids goes, he goes. And so it's about the money, it is about the merch, it is about the marketing. Listen, there was a time when Pat Croce, when he still owned the 76ers, bought back Allen Iverson just to be like a goodwill ambassador, and tickets was flying out of the box office because of the name and because of the popularity of that player. He's an iconic player. Say what you want about LeBron. I got a lot to say. But no, this is about his strength and conditioning and more about the strength of his ability to be a box office draw, Frank.
Okay. All right. That's his take. Michael Sean, are we overlooking the fact that if LeBron does play with not one, but both of his sons, it'd probably be a historical record that probably would never be broken?
No, I thought it was crazy when I found out he wants both of his sons to play and Savannah to play in the WNBA at the same time. I said, well, damn. That's a little much. Savannah ain't been in shape in a minute. I mean, she's a good-looking woman, but man. And I want to say something else. We will get brainwashed by sports that put us to sleep. So you're telling me Tom Brady can play till he's 45, and now LeBron's gonna play his sport into his 40s, but nobody has questioned had these people been drug tested for any steroids.
Great point.
You saying the king on steroids?
All I'm saying is when Barry Bonds did it, Roger Clemens did it, when they did it into a sport that isn't even as physical as these two sports, everybody questioned it. There's not a person peeping about it. LeBron's my favorite player. I'm just saying it's kind of weird that these guys who are spending millions of dollars on their off-season training seem to be lasting longer than everybody else.
You know what? The crazy thing is you're bringing up something that I was going to bring up a little bit later, but I'm about to bring it up in the show now. Talent. I saw the documentary. I hope you saw it already. I hope you all saw it because I want to ask this question after you all, but I want to talk about this real fast. I saw this documentary on Netflix called Untold Stories, Operation Flagrant Foul. Y'all, you see this? Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see, you other guys got a chance to see it, but Operation Flagrant Foul is about the NBA referee who got caught betting on games. Now, in this documentary, T, I'm going to ask you your thoughts about it because at the end of the day, he came out and said he didn't fix the games. He gave his opinion on the outcome of games. But the NBA, according to this documentary, the NBA was able to use their strength and stop the questioning on the other NBA referees. There were no other NBA referees when one of the mobsters was on the documentary pushing for the other NBA referees to get questioned by the FBI because he was saying then, and he made a great case with all the facts that came out, that the NBA is fixed to the highest level. What's your thoughts on this, man?
Well, first of all, the reason they did that in the documentary is they're saying that Stern was involved in it all the way to the top, from Stern down, even the FBI guy, the agent in charge of the thing at that time, the investigation, he inadvertently offered him a job at the league. He was like, he said to the FBI guy, these guys can't be around here. Like innuendo of like, leave this thing alone and come work over here. I believe it though. I always thought it's too We live in a world where there's too much greed for just be one guy betting on games. And the amount that was being made off these bets and the amount he was making, you knew it didn't add up. There got to be somebody else involved. Nobody's betting millions of dollars, and this guy's getting paid $2,000 a hit. The free Tim McConaughey, whatever his name is. But I think that is something to be said, and the investigation there. Unfortunately, of course, now when somebody dies, the kind of investigations sometimes die with them. So we can't dig up Stern and go back in time with that. But yeah, I believe it was others involved, and he knew that. He was very adamant to this day. I did not fix the game. I gave you the insights on who would win for different reasons because I'm always around the game and stuff like that. And his percentile, I believe, at the end of the day of all the games that he helped gamble on, 78%.
Yeah, he had a 78%.
So 78% of the games. So this makes me believe that there's some validity to the guy saying, I didn't fix the game. Because if I fix the games, here's some news flash for you. I'm gonna have 100%.
Right.
Because I fixed the game. You know what I mean? Like even the mob guy was like, hey, one game I'll lose $2 million, but then I'll make $6 million on another game. You know what I mean? So I think that if I'm fixing the game, my percentage is going to be even higher, if not perfect, because I am fixing it. I could see where he could give you that and then help along, like with a call here and there, because they were showing certain calls here and there that, and every ref gets questioned on calls. There's no perfect ref out there.
Yeah, but some of those things were egregious too. Like that Sacramento and the LA Lakers series, that was egregious. But before I even bring that up, man, Fig, I'm gonna ask you this: Steve Javie, who was his best friend, I forgot the guy's name now. That fast, who was his best friend?
What's his name? Donahue.
Yeah,
Donahue.
He was his best friend. They made calls before the game, every game, during the game, and after the game. And the FBI stopped the investigation before they investigated his best friend. That sounds really fishy to me, Fig. Really, really. So I guess the question to you is, first of all, did you see the documentary? And if you didn't or did, do you think the NBA is fixed on some of the stuff that's come out from the documentary?
When you say something is fixed, it lends to the point that everybody's involved.
No, it doesn't. No, listen, hear what I'm saying. If you just say the way that you said it, you said, is the NBA fixed? Like it's designed to be fixed. Now there are components that are part of the NBA that may do things like, because I mean, we've all seen questionable calls, not only in the NBA, but we've seen them in Major League Baseball. We've seen them in the NFL. Possibly hockey. I don't watch a lot of hockey. But yeah, we've seen stuff that seems egregious. You've seen them on camera. Calls that not even questionable. They just outright blatant. Like, what we say, the ref swallowed his whistle. And for you to say, oh, this guy fixed games, and he said, well, look, I bet on games, but I didn't fix them. But then you have to go back and realize that this guy has a G4 jet plane. He has a yacht the size of, that could revel the Dallas Cowboy leader. And then you're like, well, if you're just a referee, where you get the money to purchase all this? He said, I gambled. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man. Come on. Business bully. Let me ask you. Is the NBA fixed? First of all, if you saw the documentary, tell me if you saw it or you didn't see the documentary. And on the stuff that's been revealed now, do you believe that the NBA is fixed? It's because of the simple fact, the biggest question that they threw out there was the FBI did not interview any other referees in the NBA, even though one referee clearly changed the outcomes on several pivotal games in the league, and his best friend got calls before, during, and after games more than 100 times. What's your take?
Yep. I'm going to say this just so that you guys are aware. I've been on this show for 13 months, and for 13 months I've been saying that these professional so-called sports are rigged. I've been very clear about that. I said everybody's in on it. I said the mob has a handle on it. I also said that the refs are being paid, and if it's not that clear, then why do they always have their earpieces in, especially in the NBA? The tape will prove me right. I did not need this Netflix docuseries to tell me what we already knew, because I've been telling y'all for 13 months. It is about butts and seats. And you also know that David Stern was crooked as hell because he did things just to make sure that Jordan stayed the face of the NBA. He approved certain trades and did not approve certain trades to make sure that people can have butts and seats. Not to mention the NBA is made up of owners. Owners want to make sure that they're getting butts and seats, that they're selling merch, that they're selling food, the whole nine. If you have a few teams that are hot trash truck juice and everybody else is phenomenal, then that becomes a problem. The entire league is fixed. And just like the same way the government doesn't make anybody in big oil or big tobacco testify under oath anymore, it's the same way that the NBA had that situation with the FBI. I was like, yeah, we're not going to question anybody else because everybody's making money.
Everybody is making money. With Michael Sean, David Stern literally said that at the time the NBA didn't leak the story because the story got leaked, which helped the NBA at the time before the FBI was going to dive in and interview all of the NBA referees. It destroyed the case that the Federal Bureau of Investigation was building. It just really tanked that case, and it stopped at one ref. What's your take on this, Mike?
When people start calling things conspiracies, what they're trying to do is degrade having a conversation about it. So, for one, I'm a Knicks fan. We got Patrick Ewing because David Stern wanted Patrick Ewing in New York City during them lotteries. And he thought it was a great idea on how to control it. Now, they can't fix an entire league, but what they can do is make it so unbalanced that you have to do something amazing to actually win. Like, there's no coincidence that there was no way Utah was going to beat Chicago. Now, do we know? Yeah, Chicago was better. But in the last 2 minutes of the game, Michael fouled Karl Malone, then took the ball up, then grabbed Byron Russell's ass, pushed him to the side, and they said, no call. Players to this day giggle about that. The Sacramento King Laker thing is classic. All a referee has to do is put your star player in foul trouble early in the game. Get that third foul, and now you got to sit down. Now the advantage changes. And the NBA by itself, because the NFL is even more blatant. Because let me just ask you how coincidental is Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay. The Super Bowl is going to be in Tampa Bay. They go to the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay.
During COVID year.
Hold on. And then the next year, Matthew Stafford goes to LA, the brand new Super Bowl stadium, and he wins the Super Bowl. And I'm supposed to think this is all coincidental? I think they can't fix everything, but they can make it difficult for a team to beat you. The reason why they couldn't get the Patriots to beat the Giants is because that variable of nobody in the world thought Eli would throw that pass. Nobody thought he would do that. Nobody thought he would make the second pass in the second Super Bowl. That was the most amazing pass I've ever seen him make. But they're trying, and they know what they're doing.
You bring up some great points, but there's one point I can't get past that was made in the documentary. I don't know if you guys even noticed this, man. One thing I want to ask you guys another question. I can't get past, and I saw it live at the time when Sacramento was up against the Lakers 3-2, and they put up, and Donahue said this was the worst officiated game in NBA history. I was like, you know what? It was. I was really upset, and I wasn't even a Kings fan. And the Lakers come back and win that series. I was like, you know what? And then he just starts going down the list of all, and he's saying, "I'm not the only one." You know what I mean? It just.
But here's what stood out to me, and the reason why I point to the conspiracy part of it all is there's a point to your point, Frank, when you say they didn't interview any other refs. They were going to. Yeah, the feds were nowhere near done with their investigation, and someone leaked to the press that a referee was gambling and got caught, blah, blah, blah. So it forced the hand of the FBI to come out with and close the investigation, just grab this guy now and see what they got. They weren't done yet. So in the documentary, they even hint towards they believe David Stern and them did that.
Yeah.
They hint towards, we can't prove it, but it's very funny how it only benefits the NBA.
Yeah.
And the timing of the leak, which forced their hand to go, okay, well, it's like somebody say, to a drug dealer. The drugs are on you, block is blah, blah, blah. And somebody leak it, and the head drug dealer, the kingpin, tries to get out of there. And that's when the raid happens because they realize we got to go now.
Which brings up
and that only behoove Stern in the NBA.
Which brings up my point I wanted to ask, and I'll start with Fig since Talent just got a chance to speak. I bring this up to you, Fig. Give me your 5 worst, and I mean worst, without a shadow of a doubt. Give me your 5 worst calls that you think may have been fixed, and it could be in any sport. You know, like any sport. Like,
well, we really talked about one earlier today when we were talking about the Lakers Sacramento.
Yeah,
that whole thing just looked fishy, man. It's like the Lakers got every single possible call. It was just ridiculous. It was so blatant. It was just like, damn, like Sacramento ain't got a chance. You know, one that was near and dear to my heart is like the commissioner hated whatever was going on in New York because when we played Miami, I believe it was PJ Brown threw Charlie Ward out of bounds, like picked him up and like threw him. And the Knicks actually got up to go because it was a big scuffle. And the Knicks that was on the bench got up on the court and they were looking down. They suspended everybody, the whole damn team. We ended up losing that one. The tuck rule. The tuck rule was ridiculous. Like, come on, man. We saw that over. It's like the NFL hated the Raiders for whatever reason. Tom Brady had the ball. They get the ball. It's a fumble and stuff like that. Oh no, he tucked the ball. What? He wasn't tackled. He wasn't on the ground. They just called. Now it's called the tuck rule. That's 3. Number 4. Last. Who did I talk about? Last but not least, the Saints and the Rams. Clear as day. Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles may have been watching that game via some kind of blind apparatus that they have, and they saw that this kid clearly got hit, knocked out of bounds. It was so blatant. The ball hit the defender in the back. And there was no pass interference call. So talk about getting hit before the ball actually arrives. The ball hit the defender in the back after he knocked the dude out of bounds.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, come on. Clear and blatant. And blatant.
Talent, you got your list ready?
Man, this right here, you could go off the top of the dome with this stuff. There's so many bad calls left and right, bro. We could go with boxing. Tyson Holyfield.
Yeah.
When he bit the ear. The worst call is to call that fight right there. Let him finish chewing the ear. Let's see what happens after that ear. Because now we're looking at the brawl. Now it would have been a brawl. If you tape that ear up, put some Vaseline on it, stop that blood, tape it up, and unleash that dude after you done bit his ear, we would have seen the best and the most craziest brawl from Holyfield from that moment forward because all hell broke loose. I'm with him definitely. You know, in boxing, I didn't like most of the calls to stop a fight. You know, I'm not big on. I watched a fight with McGregor. I watched one of those Ultimate Fighting things with McGregor, and he was fighting some Spanish dude. I forget his last name. And dude's shorter than him, arm reach is less than him, and he's literally kicking McGregor's ass this whole fight. And clearly, you can see when he was kept throwing him down, trying to wrap him. And he didn't get to wrap or whatever, and he flipped him on his back. And, you know, he was tired. It was the end of the round. He was tired, and they called that fight. I thought that was atrocious. You should have let that fight go through, whatever case may be. Basketball, my next 3 are any N1s Jordan got in a crucial game. Any N1s with the game on the line that you gave Michael Jordan. And it's funny because that documentary saying, see what they were saying about Jordan, how the refs were given rules of things to crack down on, but don't call them on Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was part of the whole thing. Don't call them on Jordan. And even though I enjoyed it, the N1, the last one's the N1. Larry Johnson got as a New York Knick to win that game. It was the biggest rock of the garden, how the whole Garden jumped up because, you know, LG used to do the L, you know what I mean? He used to do the L with it, and he took a 3. They called a foul, It's the end of the game, and it's an N1 4-point play. Knicks win. Move on.
All right, that's okay. That's a good.
That was
that's
sexy. That was a sexy game.
That's
Yeah,
good.
well,
Good
I'll
list.
take it though.
Good list. All right, Dave, you ready for your list, bro? Give me your
Yeah,
4 or
man.
5 worst
I
college
am.
players.
I'm absolutely ready. I got. First of all, let's go to the world of boxing. Roy Jones, 1988 Olympics, beat the brakes off of Park Si-hun and still took the silver medal. I mean, even on the podium, dude looked like handsome Squidward. He was so lumped up, and Roy sitting there clean shaven the whole nine. And I'm like, how in the hell does that even happen? It doesn't even make any sense, right? Timothy Bradley beating Manny Pacquiao. I don't know who was judging that fight. I'm pretty sure it was Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, and Clarence Carter, because there is no way that should have happened ever. In the year 2000, WWE Royal Rumble, The Rock wins over The Big Show, but The Rock's feet touched. The Big Show's feet did not touch it first. And so he went on right after that and did the Scorpion King and retired and, became the highest paid actor in Hollywood. And, well, the Big Show is at a lower league right now, Frank. Nobody cares. 7 foot, 500 pounds, nothing. Let's see. The next worst call. Buster Douglas. After fighting Tyson, he decided to call Domino's Pizza, Pizza Hut, KFC, and a few other places, because when he was in that next fight, he was bigger than me at my heaviest, Frank. That was bad. And the worst call ever in sports was when Doug Christie asked Jackie Christie to marry him 37 times. That is the most henpecked man in the history of sports. That was a horrible call, and he kept making it over and over and over again, Frank. So that's my list.
That's it. That's a good list. That's a good list. Now it's time for us to do our one-on-ones. Man, you know how I always do that before we jump back into the regular news, man. I'm gonna start with you, T. My one-on-ones, it's always something I try to make you guys sit there and think about. So you ready for your one-on-ones? You ready? Ready, T? All right, here we go. Clyde Drexler. Remember Clyde the Glide? Clyde
Of
Drexler.
course.
Clyde the Glide was a beast. But Mitch Richmond. So Clyde the Glide, or Mr. Run TMC himself, he took Golden State to a couple of concert fights. They upset a couple of people. He was also, Mitch Richmond played for the Olympics before the everything all, Mitch Richmond did his thing. So
It's not even close. It's not even close.
Well, okay. Who you got?
I gotta go with the old man. I gotta go with Clyde, because Clyde was never young.
I don't understand. What you mean?
Clyde was the oldest looking Negro in the NBA his entire career. Clyde played 15 years with the George Jefferson.
Wow.
He never was young in the league, and his durability was untouched and unmatched. For this guy to play the amount of time he played, half the tenure he did, and still later on, the ownership trade him in that trade to Houston to get the chip. Come on, bro. You got to go with Clyde, bro. Clyde,
Dave,
and he did all that one-handed. He couldn't go both ways.
Dave, can you give me my disclaimer, please? Can you say my disclaimer?
The views and expressions of Talent Harris, Fig, Dave Anderson, and any other member of the Box Seat staff are not necessarily those of Frank Holder, Humor Mill, their sponsors, affiliates, and networks. Thank you.
I don't understand why we needed the disclaimer.
I need a disclaimer. I don't
understand why you needed it. Nothing was said there.
Yeah, but Clyde the Glide says you said something bad about Clyde the Glide.
You know what's funny about Clyde the Glide? He did sport the George Jefferson. As a matter of fact, they nicknamed him Sherman Hemsley. And when he'd come down the court dribbling the one-handed ball, they'd be like, Sherman.
There was only one other player on that team, oldest Clyde, and that was Terry Ford.
All right, wait, you ready for yours?
They both was drafted when they were 35.
You ready for yours, Vic?
Yeah.
And they was drafted for the Army, Vic. Ended up in Portland.
Chris Mullin.
Chris Mullin.
Okay. Since we on the Run TMC, Chris Mullin or Luka Doncic.
Okay. There's two things. Number one, Chris Mullin was a beast. And if it wasn't for alcohol, he probably would have been a lot better. Luka Doncic hadn't played long enough to match up to Chris Mullin, so I got to go with Chris Mullin all day. Luka Doncic's been in the league like 3-4 years. Chris Mullin played better drunk than we've seen Luka Doncic so far. We got to see a little more of Luka.
Well, Luka was playing professionally since he was 15, 14.
Yeah, but not here. Who's seen him over there? We don't get those games. They not in my those European games is not in my market.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
Tim Hardaway, since we talk about Run TMC, Tim Hardaway or Chris Paul?
Oh, yes, sir.
What did I do to you, Frank?
I
listen. When we were at Caroline's, I didn't crack one joke about the vest that your wife made you wear. I didn't do none of that. And this is how you treat me. No, I didn't. I said it was a nice vest. It was talent in them.
But that's all right. It's all right.
Who was it again, Frank?
It was Tim Hardaway or Chris Paul.
Damn.
That's a good one, right?
No, it's a great one.
You gotta pick one though. You gotta pick one. You starting your franchise. You gotta pick one.
Tim Hardaway, and that's with a huge asterisk because I mean that's the most even matchup you've done on this show as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, quiet as kept. I'd like to see them both go up, squared up against one another. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, so talent. Here we go. Talent. Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum.
Oh, I'm going with Jaylen Brown. I've been saying that from past 2 years, and I think he's the better all-around player. They're very, very similar, but I just think he's a better all-around player. His D is a little slightly better than me. Like he hounds the ball a little more. So I'm gonna go with Brown all day.
Okay. That's shocking. I gotta admit that's shocking.
Why is that shocking?
Because I thought that you would have picked Jason Tatum. I
tell you what's shocking, Frank. What's shocking is y'all about to get Carmelo Anthony because Gallinari got hurt. That's shocking.
No. That's heart attack. That's different. There's a big difference. Big difference. But I was about to have. I don't want to have a heart attack on the show, so don't do that.
Hey, Carmelo Anthony still got a little left, man.
He can keep it. He can keep it.
He do, Fig. I just can't see him in that green.
Me neither.
That green is, oh my God. When they put that on.
All right, Fig. Chris Webber or Anthony Davis?
Oh, I gotta go with Webber, man. Chris Webber was a god, man. People don't know how good Chris Webber was, man. And I tell you something else. If it wasn't for the refs, Chris Webber might have a championship with the Kings, man. That team was.
He definitely would have a championship.
Man, that team was. Oh my God, man. The Sacramento Kings was a. Yo, when I like Chris Webber in college, but I remember one play, which is crazy that you brought up Chris Webber. There was one play where I think they were playing, either they were playing when Charles Barkley was either on Phoenix or when he was on the Sixers. Chris Webber came down the court on a fast break, took the ball behind his back, went into the lane and dunked on Charles Barkley. I was like, this young man has arrived on the big stage, and he's letting y'all know he's big-time talent. I got Chris Webber all day on that.
Okay. The business bully, you get the last one before we jump into rapid fire. Clyde the Glide Drexler, or Kawhi Leonard?
Oh, please.
Bro. Aside from the fact that Clyde the Glide Drexler beat out Morgan Freeman for Prom King, I think it's safe to say, I gotta give it to male pattern baldness all day. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to Clyde the Glide Drexler. I love Kawhi Leonard. But
that's
Sam.
Hilarious. Rapid fire.
Sam.
Let's get ready to get this. Don't make me mute you, Fig. Don't make me do that to you. T, you ready for this? You ready to get it started? Rapid fire. NFL, man. The crazy thing about this is because NFL seasons get ready to get started. With Jimmy G back, should Trey Lance be worried? Because should the San Francisco 49ers stack and sit there happy that they're in that great position, or what you think?
Oh, yeah, you definitely should be worried. This is the only thing that should worry you more than usually a veteran quarterback out there with a good backup. They be worried. They be like, they got that draft pick behind me. I know he want this job. He gunning for me in practice. So they worried. So they're trying to stay on their P's and Q's. The only thing worse than that is the young quarterback got the veteran experienced dude behind him.
Right.
So yeah, Trey should be worried. He's in a precarious place and state right now. Like he should be really worried because this is Jimmy G. You know, he's been in the news the last 2.5, 3 seasons nonstop. You can't talk about quarterbacks and Jimmy G don't come up.
I agree with you on that one. Speaking of quarterbacks,
Frank. Jimmy G told Trey Lance, he said, "Don't bring your girl around me, true player for real. Ask Puff Daddy."
All right. Speaking of QBs, we're going to talk about Mitch Trubisky versus Kenny Pickett for the Steelers. The Steelers still haven't announced who's starting with Cincinnati in a week. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, Fig, you got Trubisky or the rookie QB Kenny Pickett?
You know, I like Kenny Pickett, man. This kid has been balling out. And I love his last name. Ken long live Ken to Wilson Pickett. But yeah, man, I like Pickett as I think he should come in maybe like game 3 or 4. You know, give Mitch Trubisky, let it start the season off. Let him actually get an opportunity to see what game speed is like regular game speed, and then bring him in like game I'd say about 3 or 4 and see what Kenny Pickett could do.
The business bully, Tom Brady's the oldest QB to ever play in the NFL at 45, entering his 23rd season as the Bucks, and he's set to play against the Saints. My question for you is will the time off that he just took, the 11 days off, will it hurt his first game as they play against the Saints?
I'm sorry, Frank. Weren't you a New England fan? Don't. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Frank. Have you seen Tom Brady?
Yep.
This man beats machines. I don't like Tom Brady, but he is the greatest quarterback ever. Sorry, he's the greatest. Time off where he's just laying up with Giselle for a couple of days, chilling, doing epic Tom Brady stuff. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Tom is going to be just fine. I think there's nothing to worry about here.
You think he's good? My man Matt Ryan is getting ready to get his first official start with the Colts. After he did 14 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons. Are you liking his chances this year with the Colts? Because he wasn't bad as Carson Wentz. What's your thoughts on Matt Ryan this year with the Colts?
I like Matt Ryan. I've always liked Matt Ryan. I've always thought like in those couple of years, he had a few seasons. He's been there a long time, but he only had a few seasons where they kind of plugged the holes around him from the line to options. And when they did that, he did very good. He did very well and performed as top 10, top 12 quarterback. Now, I always believe people who are good and legitimately nice at what they do, a change of scenery is a boost. It's an adrenaline boost. So I think that him being in the Colts, and the fact that it's cold as hell in the winter, the fact of being on the Colts, I think we're going to watch him outperform.
Okay, so you think they're going to the playoffs then?
Oh, yeah, he's good. Matt Ryan's a bona fide good quarterback.
Okay, all right. Fig. Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, beginning 11-game suspension. He can't return to October 10th. It looks like Cleveland just signed Kenny Mond off of Minnesota. That literally just happened while we were on the air. Kenny Mond QB for the backup QB. Cleveland Browns chances with Deshaun Watson out for 11 games. What do you think Cleveland's gonna look like and by the time he comes back? Playoff team or trying to make the playoffs?
It really depends. Actually, and the quarterback, when they see him in the locker room, they be like, "Hey, man." But yo, man, it depends on what the coaches, what kind of plays they put him for him. Like if you do a bunch of running plays, you know what I mean, run the ball a lot, and then have him manage the game and not turn the ball over. I think they could be a 500 club possibly by the end of the 11. Well, it's hard to be 500 after 11, but 5 to 6 wins possibly. By the time it's time for Deshaun Watson to come in, they'll probably have about 5 or 6 wins.
Okay. Business bully.
Yes, sir.
The Las Vegas Raiders, they waived the offensive lineman Alex Leatherwood, who was their top pick last season. The Raiders are making a whole bunch of changes and everything else. question for you is: do you think the Raiders are going to be a playoff team by the end of this year? You think they're going to be headed to the playoffs? What do you think the outlook's going to look like? In your thoughts, any thoughts you have towards the Raiders?
Well, when it comes to the Raiders, Frank, I got to look at. I'm very consistent in what I say. You look at that front office. First of all, they're trying to get some liquidity happening. Second of all, by the time the FBI is finished with the Las Vegas Raiders, they ain't going to be worried about playing off or anything. They're going to be worried if they got a field to play on. Okay, so that's my take on that, homie.
Oh wow! All right, and let's see. I think that's the yeah. I mean, I could go some more, but I just
go some more.
Go some more. All right. Let me go. Let me scroll down. I got 3 more questions for you guys, and here we go. Houston Texans made a huge move. Houston Texans ended up cutting Marlon Mack, and they now have Dameon Pierce likely starting as a running back. But everybody's looking at Houston Texans right now as the one. Obviously, all the turmoil and everything else is going on right there. Houston Texans are not even projected to win 3 games. So I'm gonna ask you, Houston Texans before you're the better of the group. More or less 3-game wins for Houston Texans this year?
I think it's going to be a bad year for them. I say, less. All these teams with all this baggage, bro.
Yeah.
When you lose, here's the thing. I'm always on the plane. Sometimes I lose my bag. I'm discombobulated when I lose my bag. I need my bag. Things are in my bag. I need to get on with the day, go to the show, but I don't have my bag, so I'm discombobulated. Them losing their quarterback the way they did, they didn't want to do that. He forced that hand. That's a bag lost. Right. Baggage claim, you don't know where it's at. So now you're trying to put together the biggest piece of the puzzle and hope it works. I don't think it's going to work immediately like that for them. So I say less.
Okay. All right. Fig, Buffalo Bills lost their cornerback, Tre'Davious White. He got put on the PUP list. He's out for at least the first 4 games. And he's supposed to be one of the anchors of their defense. Is it going to affect Buffalo Bills this season by having him out for the first 4 games or not?
Probably not, because Buffalo has such an elite defense. They can probably, cover up for the lack of this kid not being there. And then I would be more concerned with them not having a kicker.
Yeah, that's a great point. They got a lot of turmoil going on through their franchise right now. Dave, you get the last question of the day. Seattle Seahawks were thinking that they were going to get Jimmy G. They thought he was going to drop in their lap. Even though they have some other QBs, look like they might start Drew Lock or the other guy, Geno Smith. Look like they might start that, but they literally thought Jimmy G was going to land in it. Now he does it. Does the Seattle Seahawks end up becoming a playoff team? Do they make the playoffs? Or do they barely get by and fire what's his name? Pete. Oh my God, I forgot his last name.
Carroll. Yeah, I think that when it comes to the Seahawks at this point, it comes down to whether or not they have that thing. Like, I like revenge. You know what I mean? I like to go out and prove people wrong. That's how I'm wired. If they got that thing, if that team is motivated in a way where as though, we're bigger than one player, who's got an R&B superstar for a wife. Now we're going to show you it doesn't matter who you put in the spot. We're the Seahawks, and you're going to respect us. If they come with that energy, they'll make it in the playoffs. If not, happy trails.
Honestly, I don't see him making the playoffs because Geno Smith is not that dude. Drew Lock ain't either.
I tried to be nice, Frank.
He was a lot better before they broke his jaw.
Yeah, he definitely was. All right, so that's the show. T, can you tell everybody out there? Fig ain't lying. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. T, tell everybody what's going on this weekend. What you got coming up, bro? How to follow you?
You're on mute, T.
You're on mute, T. It sounds
good.
A
little bit of everywhere right now, man. Just follow all the flyers are posted. Talent the Comedian on Instagram. Catch me. I'm going to Brooklyn, going to Queens, going to Long Island. I'm local Jersey on Friday night, Camden, New Jersey. So hit up the Instagram, look at the flyers, get all the information, get your tickets. Meet me there.
T, how do you be so many places at so much shorter time? You got a twin? Because it looked like you be in 2 different locations almost the same day. I don't know how you do it.
I have a platinum Uber account.
That would describe it.
I've racked up enough miles on Uber that they gave me a free spare tire.
I believe you. Business Bully, man. Tell us everybody out there how they can follow you. See if you got anything else going on too.
Yeah, man. So I'm actually getting ready to meet with the Hard Rock today about my birthday
Nice.
roast in November. So excited about that. So talent can roast me in an appropriate venue. So you can follow me on all social media platforms at the Business Bully. Oh no, listen.
I don't know.
To
You
the
know
next show.
what
No, I know you don't. To the next show. To the next show. I'm on talent like he wished the rest of his beard was.
So, why are you picking on talent all the time? I was like, what's going on here, man?
Talent knows why.
Big, tell everybody out
Everybody
there
had a good time.
why is
Everybody
Big picking on talent? Big.
Hey, talent is the modern day savoir faire. He is everywhere.
Everywhere. That's an underdog reference.
Yeah,
I got that.
I'm lounging this weekend, man. Actually, I'm going to a family reunion this weekend, so I'll be chilling with the fam, catching up with old people.
Nice.
I'm not old people, but old family members that I haven't seen in a long time.
You did say
Kinda
old people
cool.
there just now. You did.
So where's
say
the disclaimer there? Where's the disclaimer on
The
that?
views and expressions
No,
of
well,
Fred
here's
when it
the
comes to the
disclaimer.
geriatric community.
I'm officially one of the old people now.
yeah, you the one to do it. They walk up and hey, what's up, Pops? What's happening? You that dude.
I'm like, yo, you know what it is.
As long as you can still do it. Y'all, thank y'all for watching. The show's called Box Seats. It's on 3 times a day. My man Talent, my man Fig, my man The Business Bully. We're gonna be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we got to talk about something I didn't even get to. I was trying to get to, but I really want to talk about this John Wall situation when he said he's contemplating suicide. Man, I want to talk about that, mental health and athletes, everything else. We got to talk about that because at the end of the day, I think it's a bigger problem and a bigger issue that's being addressed in any sport. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's the show. We're going to talk about that stuff tomorrow. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all later. Let's see the button sticks. Peace.